Mornings with Intention, a podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello and welcome to Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. I have another wonderful guest with me today, Haleh Magnus. Welcome. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So nice to have you here. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. Not too much, because I do have lots of questions for you. And where you're from, please.
So my name is Haleh Magnus. I have born in Iran, but I've been living in Canada for 25 years now. I am by trade an accountant, but now we have a business called Magnus Law, me and my husband, and I do the in-house accounting. I have few little contract accounting, but they're like just for fun. So I just mainly run the office with Duncan. I do the operation. He does the legal part, and yeah, I've been doing that for it's almost 17 years. 10 years on Magnus Law and 7 years of another law firm that then we moved to Magnus Law. And last year I joined UBC to get a degree and not a degree, certification as a coach. So on a program that called organizational coaching. So now I'm done. Working toward my associate certified coach. It should be done pretty quick. So I'll be calling myself a certified coach. But I'm coach now, but not certified under ICF soon.
Soon. Oh, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So it's really exciting. And thank you so much for booking for the podcast. We have something in common here. We both do collaboration books. So super excited for yours. It's a chapter in the Midlife Reimagined. Um, so tell us, what was the first moment you realized you were entering a midlife transformation? Because this book is more about that. So let's just start with that, please.
Um, well, it was when my kids all of a sudden grown up. Before you know, they're just big kids now, right? So, and I used to spend a lot of time dealing with the kids, and then, when you realize that they're grown up and they don't need you, you just realize, okay, what do I do next? I'm running a business, but you feel like it's time to give back because you have a stable life, financially supported, and I've been through a lot growing up. I feel if I could help another woman or youth to do well in their lives, then I have gave back to my community, to the world, and hopefully make the world better place in a small scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and going back to a little bit of your youth, you grew up during the war and the revolution, which shaped your appreciation for peace and stability. So, how did those early experiences really impact the way you handled your own midlife shifts?
Well, I did, yeah, so I was like a five revolution happened, and then and then like I was 7, 8 that war started, and then 16 the war finished. But then the chaos after the war carried on till I left Iran. I think it's better now, but still when Iran is going through a lot. But how did it shift me was that regardless of how your situation is and how bad it is, like bombing, people next door home is just collapsed because the rocket hit it, and family lose parents, kids, and depends on how that family deal with that crisis, and then their future, how it reflect their future. So as a kid, I don't know why I was doing that. I always looked at it as a like how everybody's dealing with different situation, with a very similar situation. How did they deal with it? And then at certain age, my own my personal age, I get like around middle 40s, and I noticed that, so you know, those parents that dealt with it this way, where they are now versus they just the one that they didn't, where they're at. So I managed to use that as a role model for myself, that always be progressive, don't let so, you know, anything that goes wrong in your life hold you back, because you're the only one responsible for your life. Bad luck doesn't mean anything. I don't even believe in luck. I think we're all responsible for own luck. So whatever you put in, you get. So something bad happened to me. I said, okay, it happened. What am I doing next? I'm doing that. I always had a long-term vision, short-term vision, and I just keep pushing forward, and I stayed focused, and it worked out. Um, so that's how that's how it reflected me, taught me to not give up and keep push forward, and life will get better.
Yeah, wow, that's beautifully said to, to continue going forward. And I'm sorry all the hardship you had to go through. Um, can only imagine, how hard it was. So going back a little bit to the chapter you wrote in the book, you don't have to tell us everything, but can you tell us a little bit what you're writing in the chapter in this book?
So my focus was a little bit of summary of how my life started and where I am right now, from my childhood till today, and then how everything shaped up my life, from the my birth and revolution and war, and you know, loss of mom and divorce, all the 9 years, all the crises that happened in my life. And considering all those, is still where I am now, with my kids being successful, our business doing well, and you know, I got whatever I want at this age. So I focus to make it a short summary of that, hopefully inspire people that during the hard time, um, they should focus and move forward and be grateful and hopeful that, again, my subject is life will always get better.
Mm-hmm. That's a great way to of looking at life. So midlife, like you said, often brings questions around identity, maybe purpose, and what's next, especially when your kids, like you said, grew up already. What was the biggest internal question you wrestled with maybe during your midlife season?
Well, I always been struggling to make my life move forward because of everything that happened in my life. So I felt at one point of my life I was so focused on, okay, get our business going, which is basically it's a law firm, and my husband a lawyer. I'm not the lawyer, so I put my accounting firm behind, and I focus on partnering with him and growing that business, accounting wise, marketing wise, HR wise, right? But then that's not what I studied to do. But I pushed that. I had my own accounting firm. So I put that behind, focused on that. And then I spent quite a bit of time dealing with the kids, making sure I'm involved in everything. So, and then when it times to that, okay, business is settled now, it doesn't need that, it need me, but not as much as I feel like I need my, you know, I all, you know, it's a system in place now, it's going well. And my kids are grown up, they completely don't need me. So then that's where I was like, huh, now it's time to think about me. So, and then I thought of doing few things with regard to accounting. I was like, yeah, that doesn't satisfy me anymore. So I want to do something that I can actually help one person. Then I have done my part. You know, it's not about money, it's about helping people. So that was my time to figure out a new thing just for me. That's something
Mm-hmm.
I want to do, you know. So
Yeah. So, that's amazing, actually, to be able to go from one thing to the next one. You obviously know what you want, and you're driven. So what would you say was, if you had any, of course, some old beliefs or patterns that you had to shed, maybe in order to step into the next version of yourself going forward? Is there
uh,
anything?
So can you repeat the question?
Sure. Like, so, obviously, when you're shifting through things, sometimes there's maybe old patterns, maybe beliefs we have to shift
Oh.
out from and into. Was there anything like that you had to go through, for the next level of yourself?
Um, yeah. I mean, obviously, everybody has their own insecurities. There's no question about that. Regardless of how, like, if you look at me from outside, you see, oh, she's way well put together, you know. But behind that, there's this huge insecurities that, like, my identity is connected to my husband. My identity is connected to my kids' success because I was always the backbone of them, or back, you know, the backup. I don't know. No, I cannot back up. You know, the person who is on the back, anyhow, not the front. So um, the insecurity would pop in that if this is the right choice, should I actually spend a whole year? Pretty much, I spend, I don't know, maybe 20 hours per week minimum studying in this program, and putting all my energy, staying late, to still do my work and do my other things, that if I'm gonna do good at it. But because I genuinely believe life will always get better, and I always believe when you start something, you just put your 110 into it, it always will work out. Um, so I have that life experience that will work out regardless of you're unknown right now. So I stepped into it with that belief and personal experience that I truly believe in it. And I figured you just do your things right now, and everything will fall into place. It still is new for me. So now my next chapter is starting building up my website, building up my networking, introducing myself as a Haleh Magnus, the coach, versus Haleh Magnus Law, right? That's a shift for me because I've been doing 10 years right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I go, everybody know me as a Magnus Law. So now I have to go, no, look, I'm Holly Magnus, I'm the coach. I'm trying to get people to come and use the service I can provide them to make a change in their life. So those are all shifts, but I know it's gonna work. I just take it one step at a time.
Wow, that's amazing. So, what was it about writing a chapter? What was that about? Was it part of doing something different, unique, or was it something, a strategy to get into coaching more, to be more visible? What pushed you to write a chapter? How was that experience?
Yeah, actually,
Wow.
that's a good story. So again, you remember my theory? I told you I'll just do my things right and everything fall in place, and I believe in the life will always get better theory.
Mm-hmm.
So I get into this book way before I even think of going to coaching. So I was in a gala. Linda had put as one of those silence auction. So I always had this vision of writing book, not because at that time I want to be a coach. I didn't even know what coaching means at that time. So I was like, because the gala is, I think, around October or November, and
Mm-hmm.
I joined the program in January of that year. So, what happened is that I personally still want to do it. I did wrote that in my chapter that my own book is going to come out of my whole life, because that was just a trailer of it.
Yeah.
But I think because of our unique time frame that we were born, my generation particularly, that we experienced so much. My younger sister didn't experience any of this, because by the time she was older, she didn't remember anything about revolution or even the war. Everything was done. She basically grew was adults. I mean, teenager after the war was finished. She was 8 years younger than me, right? So my generation particularly, we experienced a lot, and that's like a very unique, age group that we have. And then I came to Canada by myself, no family, and then now I have my whole family here. Literally, everybody's here. Have my kids settled on, everybody's settled on, and all of them are getting married to non-Iranian. So then the next generation would be non-Iranian too. So what's going to happen? There was this great grandma, Iranian, with a very cool, unique life experience. They're going to get forgotten. So I just don't want to be forgotten. So I got into the book with the idea of I bought the chapter option and with the idea of leaving a legacy and get started and write my own book. So at that time, Kathy didn't have the books. She introduced you a whole bunch of said which one you want to go in, and I chose this one. I thought it resonated with me the most. So, but that how it started. But then once I did that, then all of a sudden, by the time things got organized, we choose a name and what we're doing, all of a sudden I realized then I was in coaching program. Then I just all tied up, and then it's funny enough is releasing just couple of weeks before I graduate, after I graduated. So it's like everything meant to be, as I say, life will
Hmm.
always put itself in the right order and it all work out. It's like magic. You
Yeah,
just have to believe in it.
exactly.
Take
Um,
chances, right?
Yeah, but it's so true because even when I was stepping into this field, I actually wrote the midlife, not wrote, I took part in the Midlife Awakening. So that was
Oh,
one of the books before, and yours is a slightly different title, but I was going through the same thing, Midlife Awakening, everything that was happening in life. So I truly believe things come to you at the right time, even though sometimes we don't think they are, but it's all about perspective, right? So, yeah, all the books I did, it's kind of they fell into place one by one, never giving up, being the ripple effect in the world and things like that. So, I strongly believe that that is the case. So maybe in the future there'll be a book, a solo book by you.
yeah, I am thinking, no, I'm thinking I will do it
Mm-hmm.
because I think the book, it was really hard to put it in the chapter. You have no
Yeah,
idea how much I have to, it feels like
no.
it feels like a fast forward, like a trailer. It feels like a trailer. So
Yeah.
I thought like we write it like a trailer and then we'll start writing your own. But I actually talked to Linda about it, so I just have to start. But now that my school is finished, I can start picking up on that.
Yeah, new journey. That's so exciting. I was also thinking one time doing a solo, but for now, I like where it's taking me,
Mhm.
one book at a time. I actually like to say that. And you never know. I believe that everything will come at the right time as well. So very exciting. I can't wait to see what happens with that. What else do I want to ask? If you could sit with a listener who feels stuck, maybe uncertain, or afraid of what this phase of life is bringing, the midlife, what gentle truth from your either chapter or personal experience would you want to offer them? I know it's a long question, but I want to
No,
see.
it's a good question. Um, so now that I started to be coach, I know that you can't tell people that how to do their life. Because what works for me would not work for you. People have to find their own path, their own way, with their own capability. That's what coaching is, right? With good questions, direct them to where it's gonna work. So but if anybody want to be inspired, but by how I did my life, the best thing I can say that you should be always be the best version of yourself, meaning that you have to never think that this thing that happened to you, worst thing, like let's say even I know losing somebody so close to you. That's the worst thing can ever happen to anybody. And it's not like I did something wrong, anybody did something, it just happens, right? It's nature. We're all gonna lose somebody. Even to that, you gotta always step back and look at it instead of calling yourself, look, this thing ruined my life. No, nothing will ruin your life but you. So don't ever blame the universe or your next door person or I don't know, whomever or whatever causes that bad thing happen to you. Um, and then when you're talking, you should never use the terms of, oh, I was bad, I wasn't lucky, this happened, or because of this person that happened. Once you put that out of your head and don't even, just shouldn't be part of your nature, like a bad eyes, bad luck, bad person, bad friend, all of those should be out. Then, and then you be the best version of yourself, meaning that you always look back at yourself and what you could do better in that situation. And you believe in yourself that you can do better, life will get better. So, that really helps you to move forward and always in a worst case scenario of your life, worst, the lowest part of your life, then you can always find that light in you to think of what can you the best in that situation to get you out of it, because there's that light that you're looking forward to get. You don't focus about what went wrong, you focus about how to get to the light. So the best advice is that don't ever blame anybody for anything goes wrong in your life. I don't blame those family that start Iran revolution, ruined my life or lots of people's life, right? I don't, my mom died, all those things. I don't blame nobody. I don't blame my ex for whatever happened. I'm glad that we got married because of him. Lots of other things could happen. So there's always good and bad,
Mhm.
and always find the good and bad and take that good and move forward. I always say, like, in every crisis, there's something good there that will make you move forward. So when pandemic happened, when I don't know, when the mortgage rate went chaotic and all with variable rates, like mine went 3 times more, like it was crazy. Like in every situation like that, there's actually really good opportunity. Those people that are aware of it, they always move forward and successful. Those people that stuck in what went wrong, they never move forward. So this is my best advice.
I love it, and it's golden truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was very deep. And of course, I have one more question for you, my signature question at the end of every podcast. Rise and Thrive Morning with Intention, it's called, as you know. How important do you think it is to set intention every single day, beginning of the day, sometimes middle? What are your thoughts on that?
Um, well, yeah, I think that's a very key thing in life. If any um high performance type of person, the one that they are driven and successful, they all wake up with a positive intention. It's a good practice if you can wake up every morning and before you look at your busy schedule, you be grateful for a couple of things. You name it in your head. I know it's not easy to do, but it's a good practice. But you do have to have good intention in life in order to move forward. Otherwise, life is so busy, and time will fly, and you never go anywhere. So you have a day intention, you have a week intention, you have a month, and you have a year, because the day, if you don't have the year, you're gonna miss the month and the week and the day. So you have to have a long term and then go backward. So that's what I'll do. I always have a year plan. And once I get there, I write up and make another one, because I always get there. And it's never been any other time. And people will say, why can't you just sit and rest? You're always doing something. And you get there and then all of a sudden say, no, I gotta do this now. Then I'm like, just because that's how I drive. Like I can't just not do something. Life should always be going on, and you should always learn, and you should always move forward. And if you don't have those plans ahead of time, then you just lose track. All of a sudden, a year and 2 years, 10 years, and you say, oh shit, time passed, I'm still here, right? So that's I actually think that's a very key thing to have in life.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. It's so awesome to have you on my podcast. And of course, can't wait for the book to come out.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, we will post the links to find your book on Amazon, and of course, links to get in touch with you. So what else? Can't wait to see what happens next. So
Thank
hopefully,
you.
we stay in touch. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And thank you for being on my show. And have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you.